how worried are you that demands by Alberta could trigger a constitutional crisis?
I mean, at the moment, I'm not too worried. I need to look over the specific act. I don't really have many friends living in Alberta or people that I know about through that way. It sounds to me like if they want to have more provincial powers, like it depend on the issue. I think certainly for some issues, like say environmental issues, I would like to see that more like on a federal issue, be able to apply something like a uniform across the board. We know greenhouse gases can cross like provincial borders, so something like that would be more of a federal issue. But then maybe there is like a more specific like provincial issue that they'd want to have some more say on, like even like looking at Quebec. Why are they wanting some more provincial kind of room to move? It's maybe because of more cultural issues like language or things that are specific to Quebec. So I guess it depends on the issue entirely.
Not at all. I don't think the majority of Albertans actually want that. I think that they've got a very vocal, unelected as well, premier who is catering to a minority. So that's my personal opinion. I'm not confident that will trigger a constitutional discussion even. So no.
Well, I would always, I think some of her comments have been a little ridiculous, and I would be concerned that any province, including Quebec, when we went through the situation with Quebec and their sovereignty, the strain that it would put on the country, socially and economically.
Yeah, she needs to step down already. Yeah, her opinion's not. I don't agree with her opinion. She came in really strong, just stepping into Jason Kenney's place right away and just jumping in like that it's going to be scary for Alberta.
I'm not too worried, to be completely honest. I haven't heard of it, and I don't know, the Quebec separatist movement has been there for countless years with no traction, so I don't see much going in that direction either.
I think people should have the right to choose, right? And I think when you take that away from them, that's when people get anxious, they get worried about other freedoms being taken away from them. I mean, it is a slippery slope, right? If we then start saying that like everybody should be mandated to get vaccinated. I think it should be. I think those sort of things should be placed on the rights of the individual to choose to choose their own health and safety. Yes.
No, I don't think so. This anti-vax issue is going to be around forever. Alberta is going to be around complaining and wanting to have their own show for a lot of things. Perhaps there'll be a constitutional change, as I recall, similar to what Meech Lake was proposing some years ago, which would have given the provinces more authority over themselves. So I don't think we'll have a crisis. I think we might have a change.
Well, I noticed that within days or hours of becoming premier, she's backed away from the central issue, and she said that her government will respect Supreme Court of Canada decisions, and that essentially is the rule of law, which she must do. Her prior proposals were ridiculous.
I don't think it's a constitutional crisis. One needs to reserve that language for things that are really compelling and would have enormous consequences for the country. And, we have a prime minister who's actually quite good at negotiating. And, historically, we've wanted to have peace with the West, recognizing there are regional differences that need to be respected. So there needs to be a middle ground somewhere. So I think that's what we're hoping for.
I don't think so. I do believe in all vaccinations, but what they're doing with the oil, it should be independent from Canada or be for the greater good. It's like the Premier Legault. He's pretty well independent. He's running his own show, and the province of Quebec is prospering like never before. So Alberta, if they let them without interference from the federal government, they'll be in the same status as Quebec and what Ontario used to be. And Ontario's on the right track now with Ford.
Alberta can go do what they want to do. I think Canada has to come together as a country and unite. Quebec's gone through this. I felt the same way with Quebec, and I lived there myself. I grew up in Quebec, but Canada has to unite as a country. We are all in one world, and you can't pick and choose. You have to be one.
This is kind of something that's been going a long time. You know, Alberta talking about wanting to secede, and I mean, it's never been taken that seriously, I think, because it's kind of an untenable proposition in my opinion. Um, and plus, there's also like Quebec has been trying to secede for how long, and they haven't gotten out, and they've got a federal party, and now Alberta's doing this. It feels a little bit like a tantrum. Like it's less about succeeding and more about being like, look how upset we are. To me, at least, I don't know. It seems like it's not going to actually progress anything.
I don't think Alberta can make a difference. Like there's a change in leadership now in the premiership, but I don't think that will make much difference in the federal. So I don't think that will really affect the constitution in any way at all. The political class can make some noise, but I don't think that will go a long way to make a difference or to cause a constitutional crisis at all in the federal level.
I think with new leadership in Alberta, I think certain things were said which probably will be retracted now. They were very popular in the election campaign, and I think there may be some backtracking.
I'm not that worried because I think there are enough people who can see through the get elected ploy from Danielle to make her think that things could happen. But things are going to switch over, and she now has to get elected provincially, not just within her own party.
I think the rhetoric will be toned down now that the leadership has been decided. I would like things shaken up with Ottawa. Alberta just wants a fair shake.
Not worried at all. It's all hyperbole for a voting base. She won't be able to contravene the constitution of the country.
Frankly, I don't know enough about constitutional law to say whether it would cause a crisis. I would be fairly skeptical that it would cause an actual constitutional crisis versus simply being challenged in court and being struck down.
No, I think it's easier said than done. I think that just saying that you're going to say no to everything the federal government says is easy to say, but when it comes down to doing it, it's a different story. But I wish her good luck.